Hello. In this video, I'm going to show how to upgrade a module. Actually, the thing is that here you see that I have a list of 6 or 7 modules. I'm going to update the GLA groups module. Basically, these are all the same. As you can see inside the directory, you have the typical structure of a module. The composer and the manifest up on top. Inside the modules directory, I have another GLA groups. And inside the GLA groups, I have the typical files of any module. Okay, the thing is that this module was created at the point in time where the VTlib, I'm going to go to my coreBOS work development install. And here, when you start a new module, we have the VTlib module dir directory, which contains the base files of a new module. Okay, when you start a new module, you copy these files and you change the names and you start, adapting the module files and all the steps you do. So when you create that module, the base files are copied from here and the state that they are at that moment. Okay, so if this GLA groups was created a year ago, those files are in the state that they were 1 year ago. We need to bring them up to date because if anything changes in the application that requires all modules to get, we modify these files so that the new modules that we create now have the latest version. So the first thing you have to do is make sure your coreBOS is up to date so that you get the latest copy of the VTlib module dir. Okay, in this case, I am ready. So I go to reps and this is where I have the GLA groups module. Okay, so now I compare my development coreBOS VTlib module dir with modules GLA groups. Okay, because I want this module, which is obsolete, up to date. I want to have the latest version of the files. Okay, so here Meld has already done the work for me, basically just showing me the files that have changed here in blue, the ones that are new, which actually aren't new, but these have been renamed. We have to compare those individually. And that's about it. So I'm going to select all of these, hit the right button and compare to see what the differences are. Okay, in the DEDE file, I see that actually this is just a formatting. We changed this to the coreBOS formatting and we eliminated the space here. So this one is just getting the new file and copying it over to this module. Okay, so I'm gonna close this one. I'm not gonna do anything. ENGB also, I'm just gonna close this one. We'll see what we do with that later. Okay, ENUS has actually changed. It has labels. It's actually been translated to English. So in this one, I'm going to manually change this side here to kind of just get it in line with the coreBOS formatting standard. Okay, so just made the change here for the A and eliminated the empty line. So now I'm going to save this one, and I have updated this one. That means that this file here on the right, which is the GLA groups language file, is more important, is more correct than the file we have in VTlib module dir, which is actually empty. It doesn't have the labels. It's a template. So I respect this file here. Okay, so ENUS has been updated. Okay, ESES also is translated. So I do the same. I want to respect these changes, but I don't want this empty line at the end, nor the capital A that was up here. Okay, save that one. Okay, this one is template, Italian template, template. Okay, it has only been translated to English and to Spanish. So I get all of these files, which have to be synchronized with the VTlib module dir, and I just copy them to the right. Okay, so now I have them all the same except this English and Spanish, which are more correct in the GLA groups. Okay, and now I do the same with all the rest of the files. Select those. I'm going to compare. Okay, this is just formatting, so I'm going to push it over, clicking here. Now they're the same. I save. Okay, formatting, save, copy, save. Okay, this one is different. This one is very different, actually. So we have to find why it's different. What is in this part here on the right that that has changed or that makes it special to have this code here? To do that, I have to compare this code with the modules vtiger detail view PHP that we have in coreBOS, because actually this one, the stock, the vtlib module there, uses all of the modules use this vtiger detail view. So we have to find out what differences are between this file and this file. We'll do that later. Leave this one for the end. Okay, this is just copy and save. This is also copy and save, even though it's a little bit different. We have eliminated the create template, and now we don't make any distinction between edit and create. They both use the same sales edit view template, so this is obsolete actually. So I'm just gonna copy it over, and this we copy over also, and we're done with those. Now we get the next set here. We do the same. Okay, copy, save, copy, save. Okay, so it's basically just formatting at this point. And we do the next set here. I'm going to leave the manifest out because I know for sure that one has changed because it has the new fields, and we have to always do something special there. We'll have a look at that now. Let's look at these. Okay, this is just formatting. Yeah, formatting. Okay, this one's pretty easy. Sometimes they are, depends on at what point in time they were made. You may have a little bit more work or not. Probably the detail view actually is just that. When the GLA groups module was created, detail view hadn't been migrated, it hadn't been centralized to modules vtiger yet. But we'll have a look at that and make sure. Okay, now just have the manifest and the module files. Let's look at the module files. The GLA groups JS, basically you just double click and open. I mean, this one is usually just empty like this, and if it does have any code here, it's a specific code for the GLA groups module, so you just have to at most format it if there's some spaces or something, but I mean probably not even that. And the GLA groups Ajax is always the same too. This one is also formatting. You eliminate the parentheses, which have been made obsolete by the format, the coreBOS format. And then, so these two are always just basically just open and make sure they're okay. And the GLA groups, we have to compare with the module file to make sure that any modification that has gone into the main class also lands into the GLA groups. Okay, we have to compare these two. We'll do that outside in another session. Okay, the manifest. And here, basically, the manifest is correct on the right. I mean, the GLA groups manifest has the table, has the fields, it knows what it has to do. So basically, the only thing you have to check here are the changes, possible changes that we have made on the assigned user group user ID, on the created user ID, on the created time, and the modified time. Those are the 4 fields you have to check. Okay. Basically, we have to make sure that assigned user ID is mass editable 1 and the display type is VM, the type of data, excuse me, basically just make sure and make sure we have all the fields. Okay, so let's go down to the assigned user. Here it is. Assigned user, Simone ID, vtiger, yeah, this is all correct. Sequence 2, VM, and mass edit 1. Okay, that's good. Created time is created time, DTO, and mass editable 0. Okay, so here in the created time, where is this here? Created time. Okay, this is all good. Okay, this is wrong. As you can see here, we have DT instead of T. Okay, so we have to bring that, and the mass editable is 0. That means that at one point in time we noticed that those fields were wrong, and that when GLA groups was created, the template actually had this T here instead of DT. Now we know that it's wrong; it has to be DT. So the module dir version is more correct. Same thing happens with modified time, and turns out that there is actually no created user. Okay, we added that after, so we come over here and copy the created user field here. This is assigned user ID sequence 2. Nice. This should be sequence 1, first field in the block. Then we have created time, which should have sequence 2. Okay, so this, you check this also and make sure the sequence is correct. Okay, so I have the assigned user on the left, the created time on the right, and here I'm going to put in between this, I'm going to put the new created user ID. I'm going to put a sequence of 3, so I have on the left the assigned user and the created user, and on the right here I'm going to put 4, so that the 2 times are on the right, and that's it. We're done, because the rest, like I said, this, oh look, this merge has been added here. Okay, so we copy the merge over. And basically this module, the manifest of the module is usually correct. It knows what fields it needed in the like. Here we have another block of events, custom links and crons. This isn't actually needed because they're all empty. You can copy them or not, whatever, doesn't matter. It's the result is the same. Okay, we have the manifest. Now we just have to do the detail view and the GLA groups. Let's have a look. Okay, so to get the detail view, I compare the modules vTiger detail view with the detail view I have in GA groups, and we see here that here we have the tool buttons is set, which instead of just overriding tool buttons here, we have the option now to actually give it to detail view pre-filled, so you can define the default set of buttons you want on your module. So actually this on the left, the new version is actually more up to date and correct than the right version. This is formatting. As you can see, we have a space here. We have a new property here. This is all settings and error message formatting code. This is also the same. We now get the custom module from the custom module property instead of setting it to true. Obviously, GLA groups is a custom module, so the property will probably be to true, and it's exactly the same, but this is more generic. That's a comment that we eliminated. Here we have a couple of fields. Here we have an is set. We'll probably avoid a warning, some spacing. Okay, here we have the same, which is just spacing. As you can see here, we've added the space, so it's coreBOS formatting. Here we changed. Before we had global variables, we had this performance prefs class where we could save some global variables. Global variables is much more powerful. And so we have migrated this to this, so the more correct version is here on the right, this detail view. And what I'm looking for here is any change in the GLA groups that's specific to this module. And right now, everything we see is that it's basically just the same. There's more stuff in the new version because obviously coreBOS is evolving and we're always doing things. So, but all the changes you can see are either just code formatting or new features. We have create permissions now. We didn't have that before, so here we just have the edit. So actually, this detail view is more correct. Here we have some blocks and custom blocks, which here have been just have less features, and we're done. So actually, what I'm saying here is that this detail view that we have in GLA groups is just the version that they had when they created the module. So now we have to use the new version. So I'm just going to go to my my coreBOS work install, get the vtlib module dir detail view PHP file, and copy it to this one. Okay, if we look at this file, we see that it's actually empty. It loads some variables here, and it loads the modules vtiger detail view, which we just checked that is more correct. And okay, and that's all we need for that. The next one we have to do is let's go up here, and we do the GLA groups PHP, and we compare that with module file.php. Okay, so now the last one was the actual main class of the module, which is usually the one that changes, and we have to compare that with the module file PHP so that we make sure we have all the latest changes. And okay, here we just formatting, so we move this over. Here we have changed these vars to public. So to do that, what I usually do here, obviously the first line is correct. What I usually do here is select the space, the tab, and the var. Copy that and press Control H for replacement. Notice that I copied the whole thing, paste this here, and change the var to public. Okay, I did the extra space in the tab just to make sure I kind of have a lot of context, so I just changed the right ones. If there's anything else down below, I don't want to change it. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just changing the ones I have here. Okay, so I replace all, and now I have this a little bit better. Here we have it, a small a. Here we have a new field, a new property, which is the module icon that we have now. You can just copy the default one. Actually, what we should do is find out what GLA groups represents and add here an icon that kind of defines what the module is. But for the moment, we just copy that, and we'll do the rest later. We can always add the icon later. Formatting here. This one, get rid of these spaces also, just to have it the same. Add this here. Okay, so basically I can just copy this over because it's just this capital A and spaces and things. Here they're all A's. Okay, and this one, basically I'm just trying to make them the same, make sure we have all the latest changes, and that's the goal actually. Just synchronize the module with the latest VTlib. Okay, this one I can copy directly because it's the same thing. And here we have A, and this one I can copy because it's the same. And we're done with the properties. Okay, now we have here a construct, and it's not in the main module file anymore because this code is actually in the data CRM entity. I know that because I've seen it before, so I know that I can just get rid of this code, simplifying the module file because it's because that construct is already in data CRM entity. You already have it since they all extend the same module, the same class. And these two are just formatting, spaces here and public there, so I can just copy those over. Okay, here we have a set of blocks. This has also been eliminated. All of these classes, query, by module field, get list query, all of these have been moved to data CRM entity in an idea to simplify the module file, make it as simple as possible. Just have the things and the methods that you actually need for a module. So we bring these into the CRM entity, and now we don't need them anymore. So basically, we're just going to get rid of this whole block. The only thing you have to do here is make sure that there isn't anything specific in those modules, because in those methods, because obviously, if GLA groups module requires some special functionality in the get query by module field, then they have instantiated, they have copied the method here and made some modification inside. So we have to make sure we don't have that, anything more or less. Here in this case, you can see it's even empty, so there's actually nothing in there. So we can get the whole method and just delete it. Now in the get list query, I'm just going to have a real quick look, and I have to see here if there's anything like here left join vtiger users and vtiger groups. That's generic. If we found here a vtiger GLA groups line, then we would have to keep this function. Okay. It's not the case. This is all generic. Left joins on the other table, which is depends on the properties. This is CRM entity. Okay, so you can see that there's no GLA groups in there. There's nothing specific to this method in this module. So since we have this in the main data CRM entity, we can just get rid of it. List view security, the same. You have a look, users to roles, users, roles, parent roles, that's all generic. Team, read group, temp, it's all basic custom private code or generic code. So we just get rid of it. The same detail view, CRM entities. There's no GLA groups, field module rel. These are all generic things. Other table name is getting from the property. This is all generic. So it's all common to all modules. So we don't need to have it here. We just get rid of it. Init import, same. CRM entity users, GLA groups, nowhere. So we get rid of this one. Undo import, same. And even the transform export here, I already see that there's nothing there. Set import also users, assigned users, no GLA groups anywhere. So get rid of that. Get duplicates, exactly the same. This is usually the case. I mean, these functions were always the same in all the modules, which is why we got rid of it all, because it made no sense to have them duplicated everywhere. Okay, so as you can see, I basically have just the specific changes for this. Now we have here this, which is just formatting. Okay, so I can copy that over. Here we have a change here in GLA groups, which is correct. Nothing to say there. I mean, that's fine. Here we have to manually copy the formatting here. Okay, so this line changes because there's actually a GLA groups here. Okay, that's fine. That we have to respect that. And I think we're almost done now. This is just formatting, 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 and formatting. And these are just adding also the public here. So we are done. Yep. Okay, so as you can see, I simplified the module while respecting the specific things that it needs. Okay. And that's about it. We have here status. We modified all these files. Notice, one thing. And the root, we have a manifest file, and inside the module, we have a manifest file. These have to be the same always. So since I changed the one in the module, we have to copy this one up here. And there they are. So basically, it's just comparing the module dir directory, vtlib module dir directory with the new module, and making sure that it's as close as possible to the latest version of the module dir. Now we just do a git add all and a git commit, like maybe what this would be an update of module sync with latest module dir, and we push. That's it. That's all you have to do. I will send you a list. I will send you this directory with some of the other modules that need to be done, and you have a look. If you have any doubts, you look for me and I'll help. Thanks. Hope it helps.